And now, our feature presentation.
Foot. Two left feet.
You put your right foot out.
Foot loose.
6 foot, 7 foot.
Football.
Football.
Go! Ball up foot.
Athlete's foot.
Foot fungus.
Defeated.
Fruit.
By the foot.
Cold feet.
Wiki feet.
Oh yeah.
Foot fetish.
Footsie.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's foot.
Foot the bill.
Foot scrub.
Foot massage.
Foot bath.
Foot peel.
Ings. Put your foot in it.
Finding one's footing.
Foot race.
Foot job. Foot fidge.
Happy feet.
Foot note.
Foot in mouth.
Feet asleep.
Hello. 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 Boo.
Oh, hello there. It's a spooky time for the people out at night. They think they're going out for fun, but really it's for a fright. You didn't know, but I knew that it would be spooky time. So let's begin and let's stop short of all the silly rhyme. It is I, not Cocaine Bear, but Tony. And I'm here for another week of Popcorn Poppiness. Welcome back to Popcorn Poppin' Live, your weekly movie, TV, and streaming guide. You don't have time to figure out which movie to watch at theaters or what show to binge at home, whether you should go out to see this on the big screen or that. There's too much content in the world, and you can't be wasting your time. So let me be the time waster for you by watching all that looks vaguely interesting and advise you on what's poppin' and what ain't. Tonight, our spotlight films are as follows. Five Nights at Freddy's. This is a film that I did not think that I was going to be able to even start, let alone start or finish. But we'll get to that shortly. And our spotlight show, or should I say like event that was on TV, which was actually Paramount Plus, was the surprising return of South Park and their new little mini movie, South Park joining the Panderverse. But first, let's talk about some sad news. R.I.P. to the homie, Matthew Perry. I was in a friend's household. Yeah. And Chandler was always the funniest person to me. I related myself most to Chandler just for the way that he would talk. And eventually his addiction to cigarettes. And with Matthew Perry, apparently he had addiction issues, which was known back then. And I don't know what I don't know what exactly happened with his death, but in any case, I found myself actually having a lot of influence by Chandler Bing, by Matthew Perry. Like he had some good rom-coms too. And he did some decent movies. 17 again was a bummer because I thought there'd be more Matthew Perry, and there wasn't. Not to say it wasn't a good movie nonetheless, but I was bummed when there wasn't that much of him. And he even had shows that got canceled in the first season that really didn't deserve to, like the sketch show one, Studio 30 at H something. It sounded very similar to like 30 Rock or something, but it was an Aaron Sorkin written news show drama. It was kind of a drama, but like funny stuff happened because it was at a sketch show. But like the production of one, Mr. Sunshine was actually pretty good too. I never watched The Odd Couple, but that had Robert Ben Garrett, and I'm sure that all right, not Robert Ben Garrett, sorry, Thomas Lennon something. Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. In any case, yeah, so RIP to Matthew Perry. This week, I would recommend you to get more familiarized with his work outside of Friends. Honestly, of course, with there being 722 episodes of Friends, you're probably better off seeing his best acting in Friends. But if you want to check out some of his movies that came out back in the day, The Whole Nine Yards is a classic, probably his best movie that co-starred Bruce Willis, another tragic person that we like. He's still on Earth, but like, you know, it feels like we lost him too. But you can watch The Whole Nine Yards. You can rent it for $4. Nothing, nowhere is streaming it. But if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's actually a really good comedy, and it probably still holds up. I don't see why not. Fools Rush In, which was with Salma Hayek, and you can watch that on YouTube or on Prime. The Whole 10 Yards, which is the not that great of a sequel to Whole 9 Yards, but it brought back like the whole cast, and it's fun nonetheless. It's probably more of a stupid comedy. It is more of a stupid comedy than Whole 9 Yards. You can watch on Max. And Serving Sarah, which he did with Elizabeth Hurley back in the day, which is a decent movie. You can watch for free on YouTube. So RIP to Matthew Perry. The SAG strike. The only news update I can tell you is that there's talks going on between the Screen Actors Guild and the studio CEOs, who are reporting to continue talks this weekend, right now. And hopefully they can reach a deal. I think that they'll reach a deal soon, especially with Christmas right around the corner. I believe in magic. Don't you? Daredevil Born Again. So if you don't know much about the MCU when it comes to television, you may have forgotten that back in the day, a little show called Daredevil came out, and it was super dope. I always talked shit about it because people thought that I was crazy for saying this. 13 episodes was way too long for series like this because there are certain plot points that are in certain scenes that are dragged on and on and on just to fill out an hour, and especially fill out 13 episodes of the season. So that was my biggest gripe with Daredevil in particular, was it felt super long, like way too long than it needed to be. Plus, I wasn't a big fan of Deborah Ann Wolf's character. I hated her. In any case, it was a great show. It's coming back, but it's coming back on Disney Plus, and they've also gotten a new showrunner. Before it was Drew Goddard, who did an excellent job with that. I want to say, I always forget what he did. I should remember, to be honest. Did he do Cabin in the Woods? Yeah, Cabin in the Woods. He worked on Cloverfield. He also did some work on The Martian as well. But anyways, he was the showrunner of Daredevil originally. And now they had two writers that filmed, two showrunners that filled the half of the 18 episode order that Disney Plus picked up on. Basically, Daredevil, like Andor, is going to be 2 seasons long, and that's it. Apparently, I'm sure that it'll get more because I think the ratings will be very good. Plus, this new change that I'm about to tell you, I think will help them a lot. Apparently, that first half of episodes didn't feel very right with the studio, so instead of refilming, they just or reshooting, they decided to get a new showrunner. They decided to get, what's his name? I have it written down here. Dario Scardapane. And he did the Punisher series, which is a spinoff off of Daredevil. So I think that that's good, because another thing they announced was the first half of the episodes that we're going to see apparently are more procedural. A procedural series. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but kind of like, Bosch, Criminal Minds, Law and Order. Don't know why Bosch was the first example I gave you instead of Criminal Minds or Law and Order, but you get the point. Anyways, they're going less procedural, and the second half will now be more serial, which I think is what everyone wants. You want the connections to happen. Got into a long discussion about what's wrong with the MCU right now, which South Park is going to touch on in our discussions a little bit later tonight. And the issue is that I forgot the Eternals was a movie, and it felt like it came out 10 years ago. Apparently, it came out 2 years ago. So if they don't get back to that by next year, I'm going to flip a lid. What they're doing is they're introducing all these new characters 10 years apart. We don't get to see them again. And we also have the multiverse, which means we're meeting copies of the original characters we already know. And just when we meet these new characters, we don't see them for another 6 years, it feels like. So that's the issue. Everything needs to be more serialized as opposed to standalone. And I think that was kind of maybe not their issue necessarily with the first saga, but people did want more standalone films, and I get it. But when every single movie is about the world's going to end unless, then everything seems unimportant. And if there's 1,000 different timelines, then everything seems unimportant. Serialized, meaning more drama, more shit that's back to back instead of watching an episode and not needing to know what happened beforehand. That's not my vibe. What they're changing is more my vibe. You're going to notice that I added John Barenthal to the poster. A lot of people think that it's a rumor that he's been confirmed to return to this show. They didn't say his show was coming back, but they said that he's coming back as Punisher. So it's going to be cool, man. I have a good feeling, but now we know the first half is probably not going to be that good. All right, let's talk about what's been on in last week on Loki. Loki was a big episode. I personally think that this season has been up and down. First episode was super, super awesome. I loved it. Man, I didn't realize how... Ever been like super thirsty in like 5 seconds and you just realize you had a drink here? You're like, oh my God. Oh, I didn't realize how thirsty I was. I should really drink water. This is an energy drink so I can stay awake to talk to you guys. So I'm tired all the time. So stupid. I think I've become narcoleptic or just old. Anyways, Loki had a pretty big cliffhanger this week. I kind of didn't like it. So one thing, spoiler alerts. And I don't usually talk spoilers, but maybe I shouldn't because Loki's a pretty big series. Never mind. I won't say a spoiler, but someone appears to be dead and everyone appears to have failed. And you're like, what? What the fuck just happened? And I think a certain pruning happened this episode, and it was very confusing. I had this discussion for a very long time last night too to make sense of it, and I think I have made sense of it, but I think the next episode is going to open up with that pruning and where that person went. So the person that got pruned in the end of last week's episode by a certain someone, and they said, don't worry, it'll all make sense. I think that the episode's going to open up with that scene, but showing that person that got pruned going to the end of time. And maybe the entire universe joining him in about 20 minutes, because that's what kind of happened at the end of the episode. Oh, and what happened with Victor Timely. I don't think that he's dead. I really don't. I don't know what's going on with him, but I don't want to talk about the subject too much because I want the show to mostly just talk about the movies and television and characters. But with what just was announced with Jonathan Majors, I think that now Disney is probably going to take a few steps back from Jonathan, if not recasting completely or coming up with something different. I would rather them, because it's not about whether or not he's guilty for the matter that we're talking about right now, without getting into like what happened or whatever. If you're going by the innocent until proven guilty route, then they should just try not to talk about Kang for a while until the trial's over. But I think like overall people are going to hate them if they keep Jonathan Majors on. So I think they're probably going to walk away from him, but we'll see what happens next week. I just told you, I think it's going to open up with that episode. It's going to open up with that perspective to make it less confusing, but it'll probably be a lot more confusing. And another thing I noticed is that, Kiwi Kwan. I looked it up before this. Hopefully I pronounced it correctly instead of continuously mispronouncing it. It's basically Scotty from Star Trek. I don't know if you noticed, but he's always saying, we're running out of time. We're running out of time. We're running out of time. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. And it's not that actor's fault. It's annoying to hear over and over again. He's funny in it though. I like him a lot in it. Just saying, like, give him a different thing to yell all the time instead of we're running out of time. It's silly. All right, next up. Gen V. I don't think anyone's watching this right now. That's wild to me. Maybe people like in America, maybe the ratings are good in general, but no one I know who love The Boys are watching Gen V. And I find that wild. Like, watch the show. It's really good. Like I've said, as the season progressed, and there hasn't really been an episode where I was like, I didn't like that episode. Like, there are some moments where I'm like, I don't really care for this. And it's always like YA shit. My favorite character is, I can't remember her name, and now I feel bad. It's not tick. It's like ant. She's basically Ant-Man. She can grow and shrink. Man, I gotta look up her name. I gotta do her justice because the actress I think is like phenomenal. I think she's hilarious. She can do the dramatic scenes well too, but I think that she's an excellent actress. The actress's name is Lizzie Broadway. She plays Emma Meyer, which I can't remember what like her name is on like her alias. What is it? I'm not gonna find it. In any case, her relationship with crazy dude, like that's stupid to me to be falling in love with a guy that's obviously like a child and will rip people apart with his bare hands. That's wild to me. But then again, like I don't have love in my life, so I need to rip people apart and act like a child. I already got the child bit down. Gen V's a great show overall. It's just got YA shit, and man, they killed off some characters in this episode. The villain of this season was so good. Like that actress is great. I don't think I've seen her before, and I totally sympathize with her motives and why she wants to wipe out the soups. We have a return of the governor or whatever lady, and we know her like true power, which was super interesting. I never really put two and two together that that's what her power was, because I don't think they ever fully explained it in The Boys, but I think that this character's, in the very least, I'm sure Gen V characters are going to appear in The Boys, and maybe they'll do a crossover. I don't know, because the shit is happening at the same time. But I think that this character is very, 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 very important, and I think that she'll be a little more involved with The Boys later on. Maybe I don't know how the shows are going to go, but I love what they're doing. I think that Gen V is a big deal in The Boys universe. It's not just, hey, here's what else is going on. There's a huge threat that they find out. And I'll tell you this, it's basically a virus that could take out all the soups. And that's a big deal. So check it out if you haven't watched it yet. If you haven't watched The Boys, you're missing out. Even if you don't like superhero shit, I think you'll love this, because it is satire, but it's also like it's an allegory for like acting in Hollywood. That's the biggest thing that resonates with me anyway. You know, the superheroes that we worship, actors or actresses in Hollywood, are always putting on a show, and they're not as great as they may appear. But the people pulling the strings as well with Gen V, how they like, what's the word? Like corrupt young minds, pamper. I don't know. There's a word for it. You get what I'm saying. Just watch Gen V. The season's great. They got one episode left. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. It's great though. All right. Man, I still have the Loki thing on there. I got to pay attention to what I'm doing, guys. All right. Rick and Morty. The second episode came on. Not much to say. This season hasn't been great. There's only been 2 episodes, and everyone's focused on the voices because that's a big deal. And it's also very, very noticeable, specifically with Rick. But this last episode was a little more fun than the first. It was a Freaky Friday switch with Jerry and Rick and Morty, but with a twist. And it was fun. It's your basic Rick and Morty adventure. Our flag means death. I haven't finished the season, but the season is over. This new season is pretty good. I just wish they would do more pirate shit. Honorable mentions of things that have come out recently that I have not followed through on finishing. We're going to play music, so I don't have to talk about it for too long. But basically, these are things I think that you might like that I have either watched or I didn't have time to, or that, I just didn't think that you will. Bodies is great. I'm going to get back to this. I'm 3 episodes in. It takes place in 4 different timelines of one person being murdered, like 40 years apart. How is that possible? I don't know. And that's the mystery of it. And it's actually pretty cool. What else? Yeah. Suitable Flesh. This is a Heather Graham horror comedy that is also a Freaky Friday spin. And it looks like it could be very good. Especially for her. She looks great in it. And she still looks great too. but she looks like hilarious in it. And, you know, it might be a good horror movie. This one you can rent on video on demand or check it out in select theaters. Probably easier just to rent it. But, well, now I got to tell you, is it going to pop or not? I forecast that it'll be fun, which I count as popping. Doesn't mean it's going to be good, though. Shorzy, Season 2. If you love Letterkenny, this is the spin-off series. I hear okay things about the show, but that it's still very funny. I've watched some episodes of Letterkenny. I find it hilarious. It's just not a show. I hear once you watch it and you get into it, it's fucking glorious. But I just don't think I can take that much of that kind of dialogue. Very genius level written dialogue. Don't get me wrong. But it's like back and forth, and I don't see how they can sustain that for so long. But I hear that they can. I've only heard great things about Letterkenny, and I've seen great things, so I don't know why I need to just watch it. Anyways, American Horror Stories, the 4-part event on Hulu. I haven't heard anything about it. I quit American Horror Story a few years ago. What was the last season? Freak Show, probably? It was probably Freak Show. I quit in the middle of Freak Show. I was like, this ain't for me, y'all. I'm not cool with it. But let's see what the ratings were, because I can't remember. If you've watched these events, please let me know, because I want a reason to watch the show again. I definitely want this. I know is more anthological with each episode standing alone, but I just haven't given it another chance. I gave it one more chance after Freak Show when they did what was it, Apocalypse, where they went back to Murder House. I was so excited, and I didn't really dig that either. What, mid 6s? That's okay, I guess. Maybe I'll watch it. I don't know. I need them recommended to me, so let me know. What else came out? Sister Death. So I started Veronica, and I just couldn't get through it, guys. It's not necessarily that it's bad. I just don't like it. I've never... This year was proven to me that religious demon genre of horror just doesn't do any. I'm so uninterested in it. I'm very, very uninterested in it. Like I said, it's not necessarily bad, but I just couldn't do it. I'll try again, like, to have it on in the background, but it's not holding my interest. And I think Sister Death is just going to be like the Nun 2 to me, where I'm going to be like, it was all right, it just wasn't for me. And I told myself a few episodes ago, I refuse to watch because of this show. And I get the concept I'm supposed to watch anything vaguely interesting. This is not to say that this doesn't look interesting. It just doesn't interest me. And if it doesn't interest me, it probably doesn't interest at least one of you as well. But you can watch it on Netflix right now. Okay, this is called Dark Harvest. And the only reason I bring this up is because of the director, David Slade. I saw some of the trailer, and honestly, the trailer was very, very bad. I think it's just because it was shot very independently. But David Slade is an excellent director. He did Hard Candy with Patrick Wilson, 30 Days a Night with Josh Hartnett, episodes of Hannibal, episodes of American Gods. And I think the episode was called Metalhead of, what was that show called? Black Mirror. And it was an okay episode. But point being, he's a great director. 30 Days a Night and Hard Candy alone, he's proven it. And this he's done as well. And I didn't know about this until a few weeks ago. And I had to make sure he directed it. Because like I said, that trailer, it's a rough trailer. Like, it looks like it was made by equipment that I could rent. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, man. It's kind of cool. If it makes it a little more difficult for a movie to be believably well made if it looks like anyone can do it, but it's also very admirable if you can hold attention and be entertaining whilst having equipment that anyone can get. So it's a hard thing, and I have read that it's not that great of a movie, but I think that David Slade is very underrated, so I'm going to give this a shot. Should probably tell you what it's about instead of just telling you who the director is, because I don't think any of you guys give a shit anytime I talk about directors, but that's where the good shit comes from. is from good directors. All right. That's a long fucking log line. Oh, that's okay. In a small Midwestern town, a deadly annual ritual unfolds when the mythical nightmare, Sawtooth Jack, rises from the cornfields and challenges the town's teenage boys in a bloody battle of survival. That last bit was a little weird. Challenges the town's teenage boys. Why them? That's weird. Sawtooth Jack. I like that name. That's a good name. Yeah, I'll watch it. I might watch it too. Oh, it's fucking late. All right. Let's continue. We can shut off the music. And before we get to the weird box office success of Five Nights at Freddy's, I want to tell you about a little movie called When Evil Lurks. Now, this film is it in Spanish? I'm always wrong when I guess the languages. Is pretty ignorant of me, but I just don't know languages. Yeah, it's Spanish. I don't know where it was made, if it was in Spain or in Mexico, but it is. So let me tell you what it's about according to the internet. In a remote village, two brothers find a demon-infected man just about to give birth to itself. They decide to get rid of the man, but merely succeed in spreading the chaos. Basically, they find this guy who is possessed, and there's some sort of lore or legend, some sort of Spanish lore or legend that I think that they believe. I don't think that it was created for the film. It seemed like it was a real like fable that if this evil gets to someone or something, you cannot kill it with guns. And I think it's supposed to be like handmade devices to kill. I think, I'm not positive, but they're like, don't shoot it. You're never supposed to shoot it. Or like, I think you'll get infected. I don't know. It's kind of like The Happening as well, because like once they get a hold of you, you commit suicide. I think for the most part, this is a movie that was kind of a little bit on in the background, because the one reason I don't recommend it for everyone, it's a lot of there's like drama besides the horror stuff that's going on. It's not necessarily uninteresting drama, but it's kind of like when you go to see a horror movie, you just want to see the scary shit. You don't really want to see the other shit. So that is one. And plus it's a little difficult for me personally, because I love subtitles. I always keep subtitles on. And that's one reason foreign films are better for me, because I don't want to, I'd rather listen to the language that it was made. In most cases, sometimes the English audio dub is really fucking hilarious. Not hilarious. I mean, depending on if it's a comedy. I was thinking of hilarious because of the Netflix film, The Conference, which you can watch right now. Pretty decent horror movie, but it's really fucking funny with an English dub. But it's also like really good voice acting, dramatic wise, like with Old Boy. Old Boy, you can watch in either dub, and it's still a great experience. Maybe slightly different with depending on the dub that you choose. With When Evil Lurks, that you can watch on AMC Plus right now, the violent scenes are pretty shocking. It might make you like uneasy a little bit. This part was like, oh shit, like they go further and further with each death, and it makes you go, oh wow, that's fucked up. But also there is a scene where there's a kid that may or may not have died, and it's a wild ass scene, man. It's insane. Poppin' or not, it's definitely poppin'. I recommend it. I recommend it, but just keep in mind, like if you have a bunch of people over, then it would probably be a good idea for you to watch it, because you're gonna probably lose interest if you're just watching that. But if you watch these wild ass scenes, then it'll get you hooked on what's going on in the film. AMC Plus. Can't tell you enough that at least in October, everyone should have this app. The streaming service AMC Plus. They do really good horror movies. They do. Some are bad, some are good, but they always have a bunch to choose from. All right, the spotlight film of the night, 33 minutes into this episode, is Five Nights at Freddy's, which you can watch in theaters or on Peacock right now. If it was not on Peacock, I definitely wouldn't have watched it. But alas, I have. If you don't know what this movie is, according to the internet, it is about a troubled security guard who begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. While spending his first night on the job, he realizes the late shift at Freddy's won't be so easy to make it through. Stars Josh Hutcherson, Matthew Lillard, and other people. This movie wasn't that bad. I'll never watch it again. And it was so hard for me to get through, man, because I've tried to watch videos of this video game. I never played it, but I watched so many videos of this video game, and I was never interested in it, ever. All right, I think you guys get who I am. I don't have to keep this up anymore or keep it down. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, you get it. Anyways, what? Five Nights? This fucking movie. I didn't want to watch it. But I was like, it's the newest movie. Nothing. This autumn has sucked movie-wise. There has not been many movies to be excited for. Which sucks because October is supposed to. That's why AMC Plus. Props to you, man. If it wasn't for you, I would have been really bummed out this October because I love new horror to watch, especially in October. Movie theater wise, this is what you guys give us. It is more than likely perfect for kids. I think it's perfect for kids. But when the robot and the animatronic Freddy people, the ghosts, they're dead children in the machines. That's what the whole thing is. It's whatever. When they're moving and they're being like scary, it was actually done kind of cool. I liked it. But the second half of this movie made me lose a little more interest, specifically when you find out that they're the ghosts of dead children. It does have one good twist. I won't spoil it. I guess it's not much of a twist if you think about it, but I told you who the cast was. And one of those actors, it's super awesome to see them playing this kind of role. That's all I'll say. You can watch it on Peacock. Is it popping or not? I would say definitely for kids. I think that this is probably really fun for kids. There are some scenes where I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Oh, this is kind of cool. No disrespect to Josh Hutcherson, but he does this weird like hunching thing throughout the movie. And to me, it's like, dude, you're already short. Why are you hunching? And why are you doing it all the time? You're that tired all the time. But I do think that that's like a character choice he did because he takes sleeping pills. In any case, though, he's actually really good in it. I'm a Josh Hutcherson fan after watching Future Man, which you can watch on Hulu. Poppin' or not, for like me personally, I'm going to say no overall. When they were showing Freddy and the gang walking around at first, I was like, all right, this is not bad. And it did some cool camera work that I enjoyed. And a couple of death scenes were pretty funny when they're not, one isn't supposed to be. When this girl gets cut in half, it just happens. And it was weird. Anyways, if you got kids, watch this with your kids. If you're looking for something like scary, don't watch this. This ain't it. This ain't it. But it's fun. Not fun enough. But it is streaming. Definitely don't go to theaters. It's not worth the theaters. Pain Hustlers. This wasn't spooky, but it was new. And this is another one that was hard for me to get through. This movie didn't really know what it was. It knew like, hey, Dope Sick was super popular. Let's make another one of those, because there's a few shows and movies that are on this pharmaceutical rep storyline. And apparently this is based on a true story. After losing her job, a woman who struggles trying to raise her daughter takes a job out of desperation. She begins to work at a failing pharmaceutical startup, but what she doesn't anticipate is the dangerous racketeering scheme she suddenly entered. This is on Netflix right now. Stars Emily Blunt and Chris Evans. No disrespect to Chris Evans, but Emily Blunt was awesome in this. I love Emily Blunt, and I even loved this character, even though like I feel like this character was written in a way of being safe, and I feel like if this is a real person, that the real person was greedier than what the character was spelling out to be. But in either case, it's I liked Emily Blunt's acting in it. I just didn't like how they were like, we don't know what this is, so let's have a few weird Wolf of Wall Street moments. And it just didn't really fit with everything. But maybe that's how they are, how these pharmaceutical rep parties are. It was strange. There's some parts that were strange. And like I said, the movie kind of seemed to switch genres a few times, especially when they start getting successful. Poppin' or not, if you like movies and television shows like Dope Sick, or there's one with Matthew Broderick. I hear it's okay. What is it? Broderick. Painkiller. Poppin' or not, you be the judge of yourself. I would say you can watch something else. I would say watch Dope Sick instead. I've only watched one episode of it, and it's only because I never got back around to it, but it was very interesting from what I watched. You can watch that on Hulu. You can watch this on Netflix. All right, the Limelight shows this week was the special of South Park joining the Panderverse. Super awesome episode or special. Super on point. It is about how Disney in particular will pander to society by making every character a diverse. Was it just a diverse woman? I think that's what he said over and over again, just diverse. But Kathleen Kennedy always wants a diverse woman and make them gay. And so all of a sudden we are meeting characters or Cartman is having dreams of the town being replaced by diverse women when it doesn't make sense. And it really takes shot at Kathleen Kennedy, man, and Disney. And I forgot what Randy's storyline was. It was about society not being so everyone went to college and we all forgot how to do things like repair things. Like we have no technical skills, handiwork skills, physical labor skills. And that was a pretty good storyline. But the pandering is awesome. They talk about the multiverse and how that sucks. Now everyone's doing the multiverse. It was super dope, dude. Trey Parker's got it, man. Trey Parker, you can do South Park forever. You could. Like The Simpsons, I think people that have held on from the beginning until now say, oh, no, they can do it forever. I always say that I wish it would end, but that's because I just don't watch it anymore, and I want to not miss any more Simpsons. South Park, keep going. You're on point. And I think people that have quit South Park need to get back on it because it's way, way smarter than you think. All right, Pets on Paramount Plus, it is popping. 30 coins. I haven't watched the second season, but I did start this show a couple weeks ago because I was talking about it last week. Maybe it was a few days ago that I started it. It's pretty good. It's different. It's definitely a horror show. I would say check it out. Check out the trailer, and then we'll get back to talking about this at a different time. You can watch this on Max. The coming attractions in next week are the March is all the lights that they cannot see. I don't know if I got a picture of the movie. So this is a mini series, I believe, which will be on Netflix Thursday. And it's written by Stephen DeKnight, who did Peaky Blinders, and Stephen Knight, who did Peaky Blinders, and directed by Sean Levy, who did Night at the Museums, Free Guy, and the upcoming Deadpool 3. It stars Mark Ruffalo and Hugh Laurie. The story of Marie Laurie. God, I'm terrible. A blind French teenager and Werner, a German soldier whose paths collide in occupied France, as both try to survive the devastation of World War II. So it's a comedy, and it looks really serious, and it kind of looks off-putting for myself. Like it looks like too serious, but I will watch something that's only slightly interesting if certain actors are in it, i.e. Mark Ruffalo. It used to be Hugh Laurie, but he will do bad and good stuff. So it's kind of hard to judge. Like, honestly, John Hamm will always be in an interesting project, but that doesn't mean it's going to be good. He's been in equally as amount of good things as he has been in bad things. I love you, John Hamm, but it's the truth. Mark Ruffalo, I would say most of the things that he does is good, even the things that aren't interesting for me. For example, Now You See Me. What stupid movies. Like, I think that they're really stupid movies, but they're okay. I, for some reason, enjoy them. They're so stupid, though. They're so stupid, like magicians. And I don't know. Anyways, Jesse Eisenberg. But Mark Ruffalo's dope, so I'll watch this, even though it looks like a serious drag. It's probably good. You can be the judge. I think it will be popping. No matter what, I think it'll be well made. I just don't think it'll be something any one of us will enjoy. Wow, man, I fucked up this so bad. Invincible. Season 2. The show returns Friday. I know some people that haven't watched Invincible yet. You need to watch Invincible. It's ridiculous for anyone who considers himself. You don't even have to be a nerd, but like, I know nerds that haven't tried this show, and it drives me nuts. I was a person that didn't watch the show until like they had one episode left of the season. And everyone the whole time was like, Tony, you really need to watch this. You really need to watch this. We can't go into detail, but you really need to watch this. And yeah, I love it. And I'm rewatching it right now, and I can't believe how many things I forgot. It's a good show. Omni-Man's the best part, but it's a good show. Recommend highly. I think next season will pop. I think that they can do so many more things, but I hope they don't jump the gun on anything either. Especially after that last episode. I can't wait till I get to that again. All right. Anyways, what's next? Ignore this poster for a second. One thing that's coming out that I didn't add a picture of, The Marsh King's Daughter will be out in theaters. I'm going to say this isn't exactly popping for everyone. This looks like a very serious movie, but it does have a good director, Neil Berger, who did The Illusionist with Edward Norton, and Limitless, which is a really good movie with Bradley Cooper and De Niro. He did this film, The Marsh King's Daughter. A woman seeks revenge against the man who kidnapped her mother, and it stars Ben Mendelsohn, but it really stars Daisy Ridley. I think Daisy Ridley is a really, really good actress. Say what you want about the Star Wars franchise. I think that I'm surprised that Hollywood hasn't given her more roles. She was good in Murder on the Orient Express as well. I think that she was in that. But like, that's like the only things that she's been in. So I'm glad that we have another opportunity for her to be good. Okay. That's what's coming out in theaters Friday. Now back to this. This is Marsh King's Daughter. I think will pop. I don't think it'll be for everyone. So basically I'm telling you, you should probably skip the movie theaters this weekend. But Hell House Origins LLC. So I never watched Hell House LLC. I'm going to, but they've made, I think they made like 2 or 3 movies. This is an Origins movie that apparently was well received before heading to streaming this Monday on AMC Plus. So I'm kind of thinking of watching Hell House LLC and checking it out, but it's like a mockumentary type of horror, and I don't really care for that, but maybe it'll be good. I've heard okay things. What else is there to watch? This is Fingernails. This is a film that's on Apple TV Plus. Terrible, terrible title, but who knows? Maybe after watching the movie, you'll think differently. Looks like a weird sci-fi rom-com, mostly a romance, where Anna and Ryan have found true love, and it's proven by a controversial new technology. There's just one problem, as Anna still isn't sure. Then she takes a position at a love testing institute and meets Amir, played by, oh, fuck, I forgot his name. Damn it. What's your name? Fuck, can't remember. Damn it. That is very disappointing. Riz Ahmed. I was going to say Ramed. I was close. Anyways, Riz Ahmed. He's in this. Jesse Buckley, who's really good, and Lip from Shameless, and probably now most famously The Bear. That's the love triangle, and it looks like a basic like love triangle thing, but like the storyline seems interesting, where you can basically find your soulmate. And is the technology really there? Can you be in love with more than one person? So it looks lovey-dovey, but has really good actors in it. So I'm going to be checking it out Friday on Apple TV Plus. Will it pop for everyone? I think most people will find it corny, including myself, maybe. But I think I will find it enjoyable in the very least. Maybe you will too. What else is coming out? I don't think this will pop. I don't think this will pop for everyone, but I like giving chances on, being a feminist and all. I can't call myself a feminist though, because I have white in me and I'm a male. So it's really hard to just say like, yeah, I'm a feminist, because I feel like that's a very white male-ish thing to say. But I'm definitely all for women, especially in like making art and proving that it doesn't matter what gender anyone is, you can still make a very, really, really fucking good movie. And they have tried to do this with badass girl fighting movies. And I think that they've always succeeded before, but the more that they try now, I feel like it's more of a message, and that kind of fucks with how good the movie is. And like, I think the 355, I think it was called, with Jessica Chastain and Lupita Nyong'o. I can never pronounce her last name. I thought that was really good. Ocean's 8, did not think that was good. I know it's not badass fighting, but like a girl team up. Bridesmaids, great. This is like, that was before Me Too and everything. But Ghostbusters wasn't good. I didn't think it was as terrible as the internet said it was, but it wasn't funny, and it should have been. So I feel like I always, and I really like it with action. I like action movies that are team up anyway, but this is, I think, all French. I don't know if these are all French actresses, but Melanie Laurent, which you may know from Inglourious Bastards, she directed this movie too. She is one of the few tired of life on the run to expert thieves, and best friends recruit feisty Sam to assist them with one last job, unlike any they've done before. Melanie Laurent, and the girl in the middle is, I doubt it's Adele. It's probably Adele Exarchopoulos. She's from Blue is the Warmest Color. I think that this movie will be entertaining enough action-wise, but when you watch the trailer, there's like a lot of Expendables humor where it's not funny, but they think they're hilarious. But yeah, let's watch a bunch of hot chicks kick ass and take names. That'll be on Netflix Wednesday. Wing Women. All right, next. Sly documentary. I'm not a big documentary guy, but I think I love movies, and I think I need to watch more documentaries, and I would rather get started on subjects that I think that I will find most interesting. And Sylvester Stallone has had a fucking dope career that I never really fully appreciated until later in life, especially because I didn't watch Rocky until like 8 years ago, which is crazy because it's such a great movie. Anyways, there's a new Sylvester Stallone documentary coming out on Netflix. When is it coming out? Friday. All right, next. The Gilded Age. It's I will not watch this. This does not interest me, but the reason I bring it up is because females love the Victorian shit, and so maybe you'll like this. Season 2 starts tonight on Max. This show doesn't interest me at all. I found it hilarious. I really argued with myself about whether or not I should talk about it tonight because I have nothing in common with the only show that I've liked that's like this is The Nevers, which I still got to finish. And I think that's the Joss Whedon show. And what's the other one? Shit. What is it called? It's with the Fanning girl, Elle Fanning. What's it called? Shit. 1 second. What is that show called? Great. The Great is hilarious. I heard it got canceled. I didn't finish season 2, but that was a great show. This is nothing like The Great. I don't think it's very serious and all that, but I think for some reason some people will like it. All right. Oh, and what I am currently stepping up to trying to rewatch, this is my next project, is Fargo. I'm going to be watching only new stuff that comes out, and Fargo, basically. Fargo will be my background show because the new season is coming out on November 21st. You can watch the whole series on Hulu, and you can watch the movie streaming on Prime Video. No, you have to rent it. So you have to rent it for $4. In either case, the show is great. It's just the reason I'm rewatching it is I paid attention to it, but not as much as I thought I did, because later seasons give hardcore references to previous seasons and they jump around in time. It's a really dope show. Check it out. All right. Last thing we're talking about is the final days of Poppin Club. I have on here that today was Scream, tomorrow's Scary Movie, and Halloween is the thing. We're going to talk about the movies and why I chose them. The Ritual on Netflix. I think it's a great, like, we're stuck in the woods and there's a creature out here. It's really dope. I highly recommend it. Speak No Evil was one of the new choices that I hadn't seen before, and that I don't know how I'm going to do next year. If I'm going to do, I'm thinking of doing it like this. Each day of the week will have a genre, and it'll be like Vampire Wednesdays, and I will talk about, and each Wednesday would be a vampire movie. Every Monday would be this. That way we're rotating certain things. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know it's talking about next year, but I learned a lot this year, especially without doing a new spooktacular. But if you watch the beginning of this show, you don't have to rewind, or you should rewind. I get more views. But I did direct a new short film written by Dana Pittman. It's a Steak and Hot Dogs production that we premiered at Planet Ant for Spooky Nights, which I know none of you saw, unless you snuck in the first weekend when I was sick for it. It was awesome. It was great. And that will be posted on the channel later on. Anyways, I think... Who's this? Red Tabletop. Preach it, Tony. It be Larry. And you totally right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyways, what was I talking about? I wanted to do more horror stuff and make more sketches and everything, but doing the sketch show is really difficult. But we'll do a lot more next year. And we're definitely doing some cool stuff on Christmas in December. Speak No Evil was very annoying. They're going to make an American remake of it. I'm not going to recommend this to people because the end of it is so frustrating, but it's on purpose. But the first half of the film it's basically about a couple that meets another couple on vacation. And like 6 months later, they invite the couple that we know to come visit them for the weekend, but they barely know them. They decide to go visit them, and it turns out these friends are not as cool as they appear to be. Sly Stallone, you think I cover his porn career, aka the Italian, you know? I think that they would have to, if you're going to make a documentary where someone's introduction into making Rocky, if that part of his life was him doing porn, you should probably mention that in the documentary. They'll at least they have to mention it. They have to mention it. And plus, I think if anything, that's a tale where you can make it in Hollywood no matter what. You just might have to do some porn to get there. And you might have to remember that Sly Stallone was the Italian stallion. The Ring on Paramount Plus. The Ring was... And that's what I'm saying, dude. I want to come out with like weekly lists of things. There's a lot more videos I want to do. But The Ring in my life was the scariest movie I ever watched. I'm not saying today that's the scariest movie ever. But when I tell people, they're like, I don't know, it wasn't that scary. I thought it was the scariest movie ever because I thought I was going to die 7 days after watching the movie. Because that was a hook where it spoke to me. A guy who's addicted to movies, to VHS at the time, and having this lore of this videotape that kills people. I thought that was such a fucking dope hook. I got to watch Ringu. I don't think I ever watched the original. Let's see what that's on, and maybe you can watch it with me. Oh, also, let me know if anyone would watch Discord. I don't do Discord, But I hear you can watch anything on Discord, and I was thinking of having like movie nights on there. Planet Ant does it, and Mike, who runs that, said that he basically said I could do the same thing, but I think that they would pick the movies. I'm not sure. But I was thinking for this, like nights leading up to this live thing, we can watch movies together. I don't know how it would work, but I don't know. Anyways, where are we at? The Ring scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Eyes of My Mother on Prime. I did not rewatch that this year. I was recommending that to you guys. It's a disturbing ass movie, but it's really good. And I think horror should have sometimes disturbing stuff like Funny Games with Naomi Watts or the other Funny Games. But the one with Naomi Watts was more heartbreaking for me because it was Naomi. And Eyes of My Mother is an uncomfortable film, but it is very well made. Veronica, couldn't get through it, guys. This will not be on the list in the future. I will personally try it again, but I don't think I'm going to like it. Sister Death. Since I couldn't get through Veronica, I couldn't start that. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I literally just finished it before before streaming this. And I love this movie so much. It brought up a lot of nostalgia. But now I've been putting off watching Scary Movie for a while because I've watched those movies 1,000 times. That might be what I'm watching the next 2 days in the background, at the very least. I want to watch Scary Movie 1 through 3, and I want to watch Scream. I've seen all because every time a new movie comes out, that's usually like the 7th installment of a previous movie. I will watch all the movies leading up to that. Scream has had 3 new movies lately, and that means I've watched those first three or four Screams like 12 times in the past 6 years. So I was cool with skipping that one this year. But Scary Movie, I haven't watched in probably over 10 years. And that's including I Know What You Did Last Summer. And after watching I Know What You Did Last Summer, I'm like, I gotta watch Scary Movie. So join me tomorrow watching Scary Movie. You can watch it on Max. I think they have the first 3 on there. And on Halloween, I got The Thing on there. But that I do watch every year. I might watch Trick or Treat instead. I'm not sure. Either way, I believe I think Trick or Treat's on Max if you choose to do that. Maybe I'll come back live on Halloween and we can just do it where we just talk about horror movies. I think that would be cool. Like while you're handing out candy, we can just have a discussion about horror. It's so weird. I got so many people in here at 10:32. Don't y'all got work in the morning? I know I do. And that's why we are closing up shop. So to recap, what we'll be talking about next week are as follows. In theaters, Marsh King's Daughter. I wouldn't recommend seeing that in theaters. That's basically the only new thing in theaters. All the Light They Cannot See is a drama that will be a miniseries on Netflix Thursday. I don't think that'll be popping for everyone because it looks really depressing. Black Cake, I didn't talk about that tonight because I didn't have the picture up, but this is about a character named Eleanor Bennett who loses her battle with cancer, leaving her children a flash drive that holds untold stories of her journey from the Caribbean, to America. The stories shock her children and challenge everything they know about their family's origin. This is coming out Wednesday on Hulu. Oprah executive produced it. This looks good, but it looks a little too heavy on like television drama, but I think it could pop for people. That's Black Cake on Wednesday. Invincible comes back on Friday. And horror movie wise, there's also Quiz Lady with what's her name from Grey's Anatomy? Damn it. She hosted with Andy Samberg. What's her name, man? I can't remember. That's so terrible. Sometimes I hate hosting a show where I'm supposed to know these things. Sandra Oh. I almost said Margaret Oh. Anyways, and Aquafina. The trailer's bad, but it should be a funny movie. That'll be on Hulu Friday. All right, that's it. I'm so excited to take off this nightie. Again, I might be live Wednesday or Tuesday because I want to talk more horror. I hated only talking about new shit. Let's just talk about horror movies. I'll make a top 10 list and then we'll talk about what we're doing in November. Make sure to start watching Hulu. Make sure to start watching Fargo if you haven't and you've always been interested and you want to catch up before the new season, November 23rd, then watch it now with me. It's a really good show. Peace out, Girl Scout.